It's a well-packaged conference. It's something that I will encourage us to continue with. And most importantly, I think it's about African energy. I don't think we have so many forums like this where you're talking about African energy in general, because we're not just talking of oil and gas here. We're talking of everything that relates to energy, and that's very good. It's a melting point for people, whether you are in upstream, downstream, and what we may sometimes also call midstream in the energy ecosystem. So as such, I mean, the conference is also capturing things around finance, around human capacity building. But one thing that I may also want to encourage that we'll talk about most specifically is how do we transfer technology? Because you have the word technology in the conference. How do we transfer technology to our local people in Africa? Because even if we talk about finance, how to attract finance into Africa, how do we actually deploy the finance? Are we going to attract finance here and send this finance away from Africa, meaning the technology will now be purchased from other continents? No. What we want to is to be able to also internally have that technical expertise to be able to develop project and execute the project within Africa, and this should be done by Africans also. And outside of that too, I think we need to focus on human capacity building, because even when you have, who are the people who are going to handle the technology is the humans. So do we have that capacity? How much of that capacity do we have? We have a lot of unemployed youth in Africa. Today, most of them are unemployed because of the fact that we have not incubated them properly. So I will be also encouraging her to bring in, maybe in the next conferences, about human capacity development within Africa, to ensure that we are able to incubate our human capacity in Africa to support the development of technology in Africa.
Looking at technology, what are some of the energy technologies that you would want Africa to adopt?
For example, if you look at the oil and gas, you look at the seismic side, you look at the exploration side, you look at the development side, you look at the drilling side, you look at the production side, you look at completion side. There are various areas that we should be able to develop technology in. For example, every rig that drills oil today in Africa still come from somewhere else in the world. There is no rig that is built in Africa. Are we saying we cannot build rigs? Even vessels, just common vessel, even a crew boat. Most of the crew boats that operate in Africa, we still bring them from, and these are just simple things we can build in Africa. Are we able to build some of these things? So we are not able. So the key thing is there are certain technology that must be domiciled in Africa and should be done by Africans. So we should begin to think of, people would say, technology transfer. How to transfer technology into Africa so that we are able to develop things ourselves. We don't rely on every technology that we need to be imported into Africa. So this is what I'm saying.
So how can we keep this conference sustainable, like ATC sustainable?
How can we keep it what?
Make it sustainable.
Sustainable. I mean, it's dependent on the organizer. You know, she's the one that has brought everyone together, and I think for her, she needs to think of strategies and all of that, keep people together. So it's not just about holding a conference and having conversation and everybody go. Next year there will be another conference, and just like that. So the communique from every conference, we should ensure that they are implemented. So she should also have a plan for after conference implementation. You know, how to engage people that came for the conference to ensure that everything that has been talked about here are actually implemented. Whether it's at the top level, when I say top level, maybe governmental level, that the governments are working together to ensure that, okay, certain things that have been discussed here, they are implemented, or whether it's at the entrepreneurial level, meaning the business people are also working together to ensure that some of the things that are discussed, they are being implemented.
How do you envisage ATC?
How do I envisage
Yeah,
it?
future, the
See, it
future
can
of it.
be a melting point for Africa energy development. So, like I said, it's the duty of the organizer to begin to think of how to take it to another level.
Few people I've interviewed, they are saying that we should make it a continent, like a regional something, not just Ghana, because the first edition was done here in Ghana, the second Ghana as well. But they are calling for us to move across the regions because it's an African energy technology conference, not just Ghana, so that we don't just limit it to just Ghana. What's your take on that?
Anyway, like they always say, charity begins at home. The organizer of the conference is a Ghanaian, so she's doing well to start from Ghana. So as the conference begins to gain more momentum, then she can begin to think in this direction. But for now, not until she's able to build that momentum enough, and mostly from the home base support that she's getting, I wouldn't advise that in the immediate, because this is just the second one.
Yeah.
In the immediate, for her to begin to move it around. Maybe in the future, when she must have built a lot of capacity, then she can begin to move it out. And mostly a lot of awareness, because she still needs to create a lot of awareness for people to understand that something like this exists. I'm not sure it's everyone in the industry that knows about this. Because if I look, I'm from Nigeria, if I look at the conference, you don't have so many Nigerians here and all of that. And I think we're one of the biggest energy country in Africa. So she needs to build that momentum. Then once the conference has a lot of awareness. I was in OTC in Houston, Oil Technology Conference in Houston. I would say maybe the attendance there, you could probably say about 20 or 30% of the attendance in OTC this year was made up of Nigerians. Why? It's because of the awareness. You have to create that awareness. You have to ensure that people. So you could ask the question, why has OTC not been moving from one country to the other and all of that? That's not the strategy. You must have like an homegrown team. So whether it stays in Ghana or it moves around Africa, the good thing that she should try to do, maybe to continue to hold this conference, is to build that momentum, create a lot of awareness, ensure that, the whole African country, mostly like in Nigeria, Angola, and Equatorial Guinea, some of those oil-producing countries embrace this conference very well, and then begin to look at those transition energy, whether renewable or gas, or also begin to also embrace the conference. That's the way I see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.